Hey, it is Tiki Technical Tuesday, and I am so excited to finally share the project that we have been keeping under wraps since fall of last year, and that is the Black Tot 50th Anniversary Rum Tubs for Hale Pele, False Idol, and Smuggler's Cove. This has been a massive project for us, one of the biggest undertakings we've ever had in the studio. And I thought I would spend 5 minutes giving you a super quick overview of how this whole project came together. So let's start with a little bit of a history lesson on what exactly the Black Tot is.
For hundreds of years, British sailors would travel the world expecting one thing, and that is a daily serving of rum. This rum was mixed with water and lime and sugar in a weird-looking barrel called a rum tub, just like this one here. This happened all the way up until Black Tot Day, July 31st, 1970, 50 years ago this July. To mark the 50th anniversary of Black Tot Day, we opted to focus on Martin Cate's own antique rum tub, modeling our miniature ceramic tubs to look just like the real deal. During the design phase, we put a lot of time into getting the proportions just right and also into capturing the font that was used in these big clunky brass letters. It was an important part of the look of the rum tub, so I wanted to make sure that the ones on the ceramic tub looked just as chunky and cool. Once the design was approved, it was time to start sculpting. I made this handy jig to help me to make a perfectly round and uniform tub shape. Here's the internal armature made out of PVC pipe, and I started packing on monster clay. I think I used medium monster clay for this, and I used firm for the letters. Once the wood grain and hoops were done on the sculpture, it was time to move on to the letters, which involved a lot of very meticulous work and blue tape to help me out with the spacing. The final rum tub sculpture was finished and approved in November of 2019, and it looks like it's time to put it in a mold. We actually had to make two molds. First, the Plaster Master, which you see here. It's a 7-piece plaster mold of the original mug sculpture. From that, we make the Silicone Master, which is a silicone mold of that plaster mold. From these silicone molds, I'm able to cast multiple production plaster molds. This one is for the Smuggler's Cove Black Tot Anniversary mug. The tricky thing with molding the rum tubs was the bases. While each bar had this top shape being the same, they all needed their own individual bottoms, and I didn't want to have to redo the entire top for each bar. Silicone to the rescue. I was able to cast a separate and new bottom piece for Smuggler's Cove, False Idol, and Hale Pele, while using the same upper pieces for each bar. With casting underway and bisqueware starting to pile up on the shelves, it was time to start thinking about glazing. And we knew that we wanted to do a lot of testing, so we got clever and made this, a little sample mug that we could cast test pieces out of. I made a small plaster mold, and from this we cast a whole bunch of tiny test tiles that perfectly replicated the texture, relief, and shape of the finished mug, but in miniature. And of course, on the back, we took detailed notes as to what glazes we were using and how we applied them. Once Martin picked out the glazes he liked best, I spent most of the time in the spray booth spraying both the greenware and bisque pieces, while Mrs. VanTiki painstakingly applied glaze to the raised lettering and the bands around each one of the Black Tot barrels. Our biggest challenge since January is keeping all of this stuff away from you guys. It was difficult, especially since we had so much of it taking over every shelf in the studio.
And there you have it. That's how we put together the rum tubs for the Smuggler's Cove, Hale Pele, and False Idol Black Tot 50th Anniversary Rum Tub mugs. Whew, that's a mouthful. Anyway, it feels amazing to talk about it. Thank you for putting up with me not talking about it for so long. Head to smugglerscovesf.com for information about the sale. The first one goes live today, as far as I understand. And yeah, once again, thanks for putting up with me not talking about it.